Welcome back to Shannon's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a silky, smooth, cold, and refreshing summertime dessert called tofu pudding or Dou Hua in Chinese. And you can think of it as the Chinese version of an Italian panna cotta. So let's get started. So to get started, you want to measure out 2¼ cups or 540 ml of unsweetened soy milk. Just make sure you're using an unsweetened version because we're going to be adding our own sweetener in the form of honey. And then also keep in mind Dou Hua is usually topped and served with a simple syrup, which is just a mixture of sugar and water. So like I said, I'm sweetening up my tofu pudding or Dou Hua with a little bit of honey, and I'm just spraying my measuring cup lightly with some non-stick baking spray. That way our honey just drizzles out a lot easier. And so I'm using 1/3 cup or 80 ml of honey here. You can definitely add less if you prefer a Dou Hua that's less sweet, but I probably wouldn't add any more just because we're going to be topping our Dou Hua with a simple syrup. And so super simple. This recipe here, basically you're just heating up all the ingredients together in a medium-sized saucepan. So I'm just pouring out that pre-measured soy milk along with the honey in a medium-sized saucepan. And then to set everything, we need 1 envelope or 2¼ teaspoons of unflavored gelatin. Just make sure you buy the unflavored one. We don't need a strawberry flavored Dou Hua. Or, you know, maybe you do like that. That actually is not a bad idea. Anyway, so I'm just stirring it together with a spatula. And this should take, I would say, less than 5 minutes to come together. I mean, you know, it does have to set in the fridge overnight, but basically it's only like less than 5 minutes of labor here. So you're just heating up your mixture until all of it's dissolved, like the gelatin's dissolved, but just make sure it does not come to a boil because then the gelatin may not set. And so I'm doing a completely unnecessary step here, so don't do what I'm doing. I'm straining my mixture because I thought maybe it would help to remove some of that foam and air bubbles on top, but I ended up just like skimming the top using a spoon anyway just to remove the air bubbles, but it really doesn't affect the texture. It's just more aesthetics. I don't really like the look of the foam on top of my Dou Hua. I just wanted it to be completely smooth. And so now just choose your serving vessel. So, you know, you have a plate there, or you can use these little ramekins for individual portions. Traditionally though, they do use like a large platter or plate, and then you just basically scoop it up family style. So it's a very casual and rustic dessert, which I love. So very simple and, you know, no nonsense. So once you pour it in, go ahead and just set it in the fridge and just let it sit overnight while we make our simple syrup. So for the simple syrup, you do need some fresh ginger, and I'm using about 1/2 inch knob of fresh ginger that I'm just peeling here with a thin edge spoon. But you can definitely add more or less depending on how much you like ginger. And then just go ahead and cut it into coins. What I should have done here was just smash those coins against the surface of my board. That way it releases all the flavors and essential oils from the ginger. But you know, lesson learned. So now I'm just adding 3 tablespoons of a dark brown sugar. I ended up adding just an extra tablespoon later on just because I felt my simple syrup wasn't quite sweet enough for my liking. And then for simple syrup, you definitely need some water as well. So 1½ cups of water. And it's a simple syrup, meaning technically, I mean, simple syrups is supposed to have equal portion sugar and water. I would say this is not the case, but I don't like it too sweet either. So this is really just to top off our Dou Hua, give it a little bit more flavor. And I did add a couple of cinnamon sticks there that you saw earlier, just because I like how it complements the warmth of that ginger. So just bring it to a boil, a very vigorous rolling boil over about medium-high heat. And then once it comes to a boil, just turn that heat off, cover it with a lid, and just let it steep for as long as you want. I actually steep mine for overnight. That way it can really infuse the simple syrup with that spiciness and warmth from the cinnamon and the ginger. So now you can see my Dou Hua is all set up. It's nice and wiggly and jiggly. And then just go ahead. This is pretty self-explanatory. You just strain out your syrup and then just gently serve it up. So this is the traditional way of serving Dou Hua. The texture is quite interesting to watch during the playback here, especially in slow motion. But you just basically put it into a bowl. It's very, like I said, casual, rustic, home style dessert, so no fuss, no, it's really low effort and very delicious. So I just love the depth of flavor from the cinnamon and the ginger and the syrup. It almost it's really interesting. I think the warmth from the ginger and the warmth from that cinnamon makes you think fall, but then the coolness, in terms of temperature of the syrup and the Dou Hua is perfect for summer. So I don't know, is it the perfect transition dessert from summer to winter? I don't know. Either way, it's very refreshing, super silky smooth. It does feel like you're eating tofu actually. So I guess if you're really in a pinch, you can definitely use some store-bought silken tofu for the Dou Hua portion, but it's fun to make. It's super simple and easy to put together. And I tried to be fancy here, just using some goji berries for a presentation, but I kind of like the silkiness and the smoothness alone from the Dou Hua. I don't like it to be interrupted by that chewiness from the goji berry, but it's just more for looks. So make sure to give it a try. Let me know in the comments below what you think, as well as subscribe for new recipes every week. I'm trying to post every Friday, so make sure to hit that notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video, as well as smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Bye.